Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Books and Betches, not to be confused with Books and... She wasn't ready. I said, Erica, are you ready?
You were doing so well all
ready.
day.
And then she went back to her phone.
You were doing so well.
There's so many quotes in this movie that you could have...
I'm like fumbling on them.
There's so...
What would you say, Kristin?
Any of them. Inigo Montoya.
I was thinking
no, I was going to say you killed my father, but... I was like...
I'm Kristin, and with me I have...
Inigo Montoya.
That's Erica and...
Maria.
If you haven't gathered what we're talking about today, normally this is a book podcast where we swear, we spoil, we talk about sex. This week, we're doing a movie, another movie.
A movie on a book.
It is based on a book.
Yep.
You're right. I got that wrong last time, which is crazy. I should know.
Can I have a script?
This is my favorite movie of all time. I've seen it 70 times. I can quote
Probably
it from
more.
start to finish. The whole thing I could quote
That's
from start.
crazy.
I went and saw it at the Oakdale Theater when I don't even know the actor's name. The guy who plays Wesley was there.
I can't pronounce his name. Carrie
neither.
something.
Yeah. He did a Q&A. Love Andre the Giant. Love Robin Wright. So this love Rob Reiner, the director. This movie is everything to me. It is my childhood. It is the reason that I am in film today. It's the reason.
Is it?
Yeah, 100%. I went to film school because of this movie.
Seriously?
I watched it at my neighbor's house when I was 10, and I said, I want to make this. I want to make movies. I want to tell stories. Like, this is literally the whole reason that I am where I am
Oh, it's so
today.
fun.
Wow.
For me, it's Toy
Yeah.
Story.
That's awesome. I love that. Yeah, so this is a very special episode.
And I didn't go into any animation.
That's okay. So yeah, we're talking about The Princess Bride. The writer in the movie is Morgan S. Stern, but in real life, I forget.
No, it's written by William Goldman.
Yeah, it is William Goldman.
No, he wrote the screenplay too.
He wrote the book and the screenplay. So that's cool. That never happens.
That's how you know it's done right.
So bless him. Thank you so much.
So, writing a screenplay, have you ever written a screenplay?
I
Yes.
hate it.
It is so weirdly difficult.
Yes.
Mhm.
Like, it's
so hard.
It's such a different, like, difficultness.
Yeah. I hate the writing of the descriptors.
it's not really writing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
You're
have to-
writing dialogue. You have to be
you're-
really good at dialogue.
Yeah, you have to be really good at dialogue. You have to understand stage movements. You
Yeah.
have to understand setting a scene and how people need to move within the scene and you
And
know
how to
there's-
convey that much within just a small paragraph of you describing the scene.
Yeah, and then exactly. You have to be visualizing the movie as you're writing it,
Yep.
and then on top of that, you're also following the natural conventions of telling a you know what I
story,
mean?
yeah.
Act 1, Act 2, Act 3, like all of the things that kind of go into that. Like, it is a lot more complicated than you.
And then imagine the ones that
ever
break the
imagine.
norms.
Yeah.
Imagine the Shutter Islands and the Inceptions. And
that break.
also 2 Leo movies.
yeah.
No, but the
Interstellar, like those kind of films that break the norms of like where those twists happen. How do you think that way while trying to write a conventional script?
Things need to come back to each other. There's just so much that goes into it. If you're not watching this episode,
get lost. You can get lost. In this.
If you're
Get
not-
lost in the sauce.
I thought you were saying I thought you were saying get lost to our followers.
our listeners.
If you're
And,
not,
also you're doing cameras.
yeah.
Yeah,
So if
everything.
you're not watching, head on over to our YouTube page. Just look up Books and Betches. And what you'll see right now is I have the script printed out. Thank you, Garrett. Bless Garrett. This
Who's
was
Garrett?
a gift from him. Back when
I like
we were
how
at
we all
WWE.
give you gifts of
I love
Princess
it.
Bride.
And
I
that's
gave her magnets
Yes.
of all the dialogue in the
Yep.
film. Yes, it was a lot of magnets.
But it's funny. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
That did happen. I had them up at
all
WWE.
on the house.
Yes.
Yeah, on the
I
on the-
remember that. Okay, now I know what you're talking about. You know when people say, like, I don't like telling people what I like because they keep giving me gifts? Like, somebody was like, oh, I like frogs, and all of a sudden you have every frog
My
known
mom
to man.
likes angels. She
Yes.
has hundreds of them now because all people do is give her angels.
Some people will be like, I hate that I even said it. No, love Princess. If you give me Princess Bride stuff till the end of time, I will be happy.
It's kind of like me with plants right now. I don't have enough room in my apartment for plants. Yet
that's
I
a
get
problem.
gifted plants more often than not. Don't give me any more. Both of you, don't give me any more plants.
I never gave you a plant.
No, you didn't because you get
I
it.
gave
I get
you a
it.
stuffed animal plant.
And Zena killed it. Although I still have it. She just doesn't have a face anymore.
Can I see this? So the script here.
See with your eyes, not your hand.
Okay, so I have the script with us, which is great, but I'm telling you that I could quote this movie probably from start to finish.
So why'd you bring it?
I thought it was cool.
I like it.
Yeah,
Oh.
it's neat.
Ooh, there goes your
Um,
phone.
Bye bye.
Can't
Should
get
we?
it now.
I mean, this movie is a cult classic. It's been around for a really long time.
Out in 1987.
Interestingly enough, this movie took forever to get greenlit. It almost
Really?
Oh, they could not. I mean, years and years. William Goldberg tried to get this movie made, and there was a different director tied to it at first. Andre the Giant originally was
Love
going to be
him.
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Ew.
But he
Ew.
got
Ew.
would have changed everything. But he got too famous. They couldn't afford him.
Thank
so they
God.
were like, nope, we'll go with Andre the Giant. Like
He's an angel.
He's the only giant we can like do.
Love
to have
him.
this.
I mean, I don't know if he has a bad past, but I love him.
And not only did this fucking film take forever to greenlight, it did horribly in the box office.
They always do.
Yeah, it's called
Horribly.
classic.
And now it's a cult classic. I mean, like, if you haven't seen this movie, what the fuck are you doing? I'm sorry, but you have to watch The Princess Bride. If you have Disney Plus, it's on Disney Plus. Go watch it, then come back here because
My first time seeing this
the
film
best.
was thanks to my dad.
really,
Yeah, my dad forced me to watch it.
yeah.
He's like, you have to watch this film. You think you're a movie kid, you have to watch this film.
If you, yeah,
And
you
I was
have to.
when my dad has this thing where he likes to tell me to watch stuff, and because I'm inherently like a little rebel inside, I'm like, no, I'm not gonna.
You do that.
I don't want to.
You do
I don't
that
want,
a
You
lot.
told me to do something, I'm not gonna do it. It's reverse psychology for me. So I kept saying no, I'm not gonna watch these things. But we sat and watched it. I loved it.
It's so good.
And now I always quote with him.
I don't
beginning of
know.
month, yeah.
Like when I watched it, I just have like
yeah.
it was like not a substantial memory in my brain.
I'll never
of when
forget
I
it.
did.
I'll never fucking forget it. Just being a kid and being like so wowed.
It's just one of those movies that was on television a lot.
You know what? Like the stuck out to me the most was when he got bit by, and we could do a 60-second. I think we should, just because it's
Yeah,
like such an
you're
older
on it.
movie. But like I just remember like the blood and like his shoulder being really fucked up, and for some reason that was so ingrained in my mind because they were going through this really cool forest, and I was like, this is an adventure, and I'm here for it, and I
You
want
and
to
your
make
adventures.
movies. Oh, I love a good adventure.
I think it was fun rewatching this because I rewatched it like last week or whatever, and I think it was fun because now all of these people have had careers, right?
Yeah.
So like
Yep.
seeing some of these people in a movie that was so old,
Mm-hmm.
like, and where their careers ended up going, it's just like really it's always fun to watch like 80s 90s movies because you're like, oh,
But
they
also
were in-
I appreciate the dialogue way more now as an adult
big
than I
time.
would
Oh
as
my
a
God,
kid.
yeah.
1,000. I think that's
It's
the
just
biggest
so
thing.
it's just so witty, so
he's
smart.
so fucking good.
And there's so many things that come back to
What's his
2020 that are really interesting. I'm excited to talk about.
Math.
Yeah, a lot of things. And also, damn, I forgot what I was gonna say
I'm sorry.
about the No. I love it. Maybe we just do the 60-second real
Okay,
quick.
I need my watch for you to do it.
Oh, I'm doing it.
It's your favorite movie. You have to.
Ugh. Watch me botch this completely.
That's fine.
No, it's not. If you're new to this podcast, we do this thing where we attempt to explain the entire plot summary of a book or a movie in 60 seconds or less. I guess this week I'm doing it.
You guess.
Because it's my favorite movie of
You're
all time.
all time. You just hyped up this movie so
watch
much.
me fuck it up.
3, 2.
Okay, so the movie is actually set in the real world. The grandpa comes to read a story to his sick grandson. The story is The Princess Bride. Essentially, it follows Princess Buttercup, and she falls in love with the farm boy, Wesley, who always says, as you wish, to all of her commands. Adorable love story. He gets shipped off to be a pirate, or, well, we don't know he's a pirate. He gets shipped off to work under the Dread Pirate Robbins, or whatever his name is.
30.
Roberts. Fuck. The princess, 5 years later, Princess Buttercup ends up being forced to be married to Humperdinck, who is like the worst king of all time, but she's forced to marry him. He sets her up to start a war. She gets kidnapped by these 3 amazing bandits and
15 seconds.
goes on this adventure where she's trying to escape them, but at the same time, Wesley comes back. We don't know this at first. Captures her. Then there's a fight between
5.
Humperdinck and Wesley. Wesley wins his love back, and I don't. Okay,
1.
I'm done.
You got it.
All
you
right,
Got, you got
yeah.
the main gist of it.
You understand. If you've seen it,
You got a lot of the side plots in there pretty well.
I tried. I think the side plots are actually like so important for this movie.
Putting my laptop down, but I know I need it. I need that side table.
So I think what makes this movie so incredible is the dialogue and the characters, the 3 characters that we all know and love. We have Fezzik, we have Inigo Montoya, and I always forget. Yeah, I have a hard
I
time.
can't. It's Italian.
The giant. We'll just-
Fezzik. That's Fezzik.
Oh, Fezzik. Oh, sorry, the Sicilian.
Sicilian guys. This is something.
Yeah. So these three characters are, in my opinion, the greatest characters of all time.
Better than Wesley himself?
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely. The three of them, the way
Inconceivable.
they jive, everything about them is amazing.
So he was also in Robin Hood.
Who?
What's his face? Carrie.
Carrie L. whatever's last name.
Oh, yeah, the one who played Wesley.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was also in Robin Hood, and I always get like the scenes mixed up because it's like a similar
Same kind of vibe.
Well, it's like a similar time period or whatever. Like it's at like not medieval, but like I don't know what time period it is.
Sure,
Medieval.
sure.
I call it medieval.
Is it?
Yeah.
I don't know. But it's like a similar time period, and I always there's have you seen Robin Hood?
No.
That's weird. But Robin Hood Men in Tights is like it's always on Comedy Central, or it used to always be on Comedy
I don't have
Central.
cable.
Oh, it's
And
funny.
yeah, it's like
It's funny.
It's more funny than Princess Bride, obviously. Like what?
Disagree.
Hard disagree, even though we haven't watched it.
We both haven't seen it. Princess Bride is like one of the funniest movies ever.
Okay, well it's on that same
Sure.
comedy
Sure.
style as Princess Bride.
Right.
So they interchanged in my brain.
Got
the
it.
Scenes.
Got it.
In Robin Hood, the girl is in the main love interest. The girl is in this like chastity like belt, but like her whole underwear is just like this big like iron piece of
What the
underwear.
fuck?
Yeah.
And
Okay.
like I always.
So you
when I
think
think of-
Buttercup has one?
when I think of Princess Bride, I always think my brain switches the two.
That's fair.
Wrong. It's so wrong.
It's
No,
wrong,
I know,
but I
I know,
understand.
I know.
I got you.
I know it's
Okay.
wrong.
Okay.
But it's funny because it's just like I have a hard time like differentiating the two.
It was really neat. I went to see Carrie. I'm not going to try to say his last name. I went to see him at the Oakdale Theater in Connecticut. Basically what happened was we all sat down, we rewatched the movie together. Most of us yelled out quotes because we're all nerds. And then in the end, he just told stories about what it was like filming the movie. He had not thousands, but he had so many stories about Andre the Giant. And I just
So
think
interesting.
there's so much heart there. He is like a gentle giant, but the one story that really stuck out to me the most was that when they were filming this one scene when they were about to storm the castle, have fun storming the castle, Andre the Giant let out a fart. He said that was the longest fart in recorded. He was like, it had to be the longest fart in a recorded history.
Oh my God.
It was just like, and he was like, and it like gained like audio throughout the whole and he said it was so rancid that
Oh God.
everybody had to leave.
Wasn't he like a raging alcoholic too? So-
Oh, for sure. My grandpa drank with Andre the Giant.
What?
Yes, my grandpa used to work at some like underground like
Bar?
It wasn't a bar. It was like a convenience store, and he said all these wrestlers came in.
What?
He had a weird life, and Andre the Giant came once with this limousine, and my grandpa got in the limousine with him, and
What?
he said that he drank 2 bottles.
How have you never told me this before?
I don't know. I thought I did. He drank 2 bottles of like Bacardi or brandy or something.
Yeah, he was a heavy drinker.
like casually.
yeah.
And that's wild.
From the one documentary I think I've seen of him, is like he was
I mean, he's a massive guy.
Yeah, he's
severely
massive, dude.
alcoholic from all the pain he
That's
was
so
in
sad. That's so sad.
as a giant.
Well, he had really bad back problems.
Yeah.
So filming this, he used to have to, you know, the scene where he's like being choked out by Wesley.
Yeah.
And he's like, when he puts him to sleep, he's
Yeah.
like, I don't envy you the headache you'll have when you wake up. Dream of gentle,
Big women.
Big women.
Yeah.
Yeah. That scene, Wesley had to be on like a box, and he had to like support his own weight because Andre the
So
Giant couldn't
couldn't
handle
support him.
it. And then they used the stunt double for the far away shot. So next time you watch the movie, you'll notice how much smaller
he looks.
the guy is from the far away shots. You're like,
my.
oh, he's tiny, but it's like things that you don't realize until you watch it again. But such
Poor
a good
Andre.
fucking movie. The movie's so good.
I love the movie.
And the adventure itself, like the love story, like Erica, do you love Wesley and Buttercup's love story? Because,
I will say the beginning, you
Yeah.
are the grandson.
oh my God, just Chicago
Is this a
Cubs
kissing
fan.
book?
Yeah, is this a kissing book? Literally me to a T. Maybe that's why
I wrote it,
enjoy him.
Kristin. Is this a kissing book?
That's me.
I just think like this
Meanwhile, I'm Andre the Giant. I only dog paddle.
Yes.
I can't swim.
this
Doggy
stretch of movies between
She's
like
Fezzik. Not
1980
Fezzik, she's Vicini.
between 1985 and like 1997 is just like some of the best movies that have ever been created. Like funny wise, right? Like you have like Spaceballs, you have Robin Hood, you have
Spaceballs,
all
yes.
these like epic like adventure like that are just so
And big
fucking
romantic comedies at the
funny.
time,
Yes.
too.
They're funny.
Yeah.
I will say also, I think there's a resurgence in films between 2003, 2005 for me anyway.
Yeah.
I think in that span,
We had like Knight's Tale, right? We had those
we
like
had Knight's Tale, but that at that time too, in 2000s, we had Mean Girls. We had so many iconic movies that I think shaped my life.
It's the quotables.
And now it's been
and it's not cheap humor. It
Yeah,
has
it's
layers.
smart.
It's smart humor. It has layers. There's things that you don't appreciate until you're older. Some of my favorite like lines like life is pain, highness. Anybody who tells you differently is selling you something.
Yep.
That line to me is fucking genius
Yep.
on so many levels. And as a kid, you just don't pick up on these things.
And I think writing wise, it's smart because it doesn't elongate these jokes.
Yeah.
It just gives you the joke. If you get it, you get it. If you don't, you're dumb.
so
Yeah.
the main bad guy.
Humperdinck.
Humperdinck.
whatever.
Yeah.
This is the bad guy in Robin Hood.
Oh yeah, they look very similar.
Oh shit.
That's wild.
Oh yeah.
Like, come on.
I feel you.
I feel you. Yeah.
So the like some of the quotes that I'm just like obsessed with, death cannot stop true love. All it can do is delay it for a while. That's something that when I got the tattoo from my grandparents, the Superman Lois Lane tattoo, like I almost got that quote on there because like the way my grandfather was after his wife died, it was just like he was like, yeah, we'll be together again. Like he was very certain that like that love wasn't gonna die, and I'm just like, when I married my friend, I'm an ordained minister, no big deal. So when I married my friend, this is the person who showed me The Princess Bride. She was obsessed with it as well. I started off their wedding with Marriage, which is funny because Garrett did that for my marriage.
Garrett did it for Kristin's wedding.
But for Jess's wedding, when I did the marriage, I tied it into every single aspect of like the speech that I gave, and it was kind of like the death cannot stop true love. All it can do is delay it for a while. When she found out Wesley was still alive, she said, she was like, "Are you okay? Can you move?" She's like, "Can I move? You're alive. If you wanted to, I could fly." Like those little moments were just so fucking magical, and like the love between them was just incredible.
Then I love all the dumb quotes. They're just
Yes,
funny.
yeah.
Like we'll never survive. Nonsense. You always say that because no one ever has.
That's the fire
Yeah, they're
swamp.
just like little quips of like.
That's when they're in the
You
fire
could miss
swamp,
them.
right?
Yeah, like
and he's like,
swamp.
he's like, it's not so bad, and she just stared at him. He's like, "Well, I wasn't gonna build a summer home in here." Yes.
But that was that 90s humor.
Yes.
That was that like really quick, like
yep.
you had to hear it. You had to like understand. You know what I mean? Like it was very, very fast moving humor.
The most important thing I want to talk about is my obsession for Mandy Patinkin.
Yeah, my favorite one.
Inigo Montoya.
You killed my father.
That's
I still am obsessed with
perhaps the biggest part of this movie that most people quote. If you go to people's houses, if they have a Princess Bride thing, it's usually, "Hello, my name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die." It's that story within the story that has so much weight. Like, we all cared about him getting his revenge.
I don't know why.
And
I don't know. Like,
the
I don't
whole-
know
'Cause he was so
we, like,
it's
just
good.
grasp.
No, I'm just saying. I don't know. It like has
20
everyone in a
years.
chokehold.
Yeah.
20 years.
20
to
years.
It's one of
avenge
those
his
things
father.
that like is so magical about this movie that like is you don't get why you can't like you can't point a finger to like why people care about that storyline.
Yeah.
And like it's the same thing about like all these like franchises and fandoms. It's like you can't really grab onto why.
I think part of it is that I've watched this movie 70 times, and every single time I watch it, I still feel magic.
Yeah.
I still feel connected. I still want to read it.
I think one of
like,
my and I don't think it's meant to be funny.
Yeah.
But the part, because I'm at the page right now.
Yeah.
The part where he's going after Rugen, right? And Rugen goes and locks the door, and Inigo keeps like pounding.
Yes.
Fezzik,
Fezzik!
I need you. Get away.
And Fezzik like holds him and then like hits the thing and it goes, "Go ahead." Like that's the best. Those moments are so
Get
cute.
away from me, Fezzik. I need you.
Yeah. And then like when he does finally kill him, that moment where he gets like stabbed and he's dying,
Oh,
and then he
such
slowly
a
gets
hero.
up and he's like, "Hello,
my name is Inigo." The
amazing."
The soundtrack
Yeah.
of those first 3 hits of the sword
Yep.
is one of my favorite parts of a film. I was like, pump,
Yep.
pump, pump, pump. It's
One
so
of
good.
the other parts of this movie that I see gets remade the most, and to me is like just the best part of this movie, is the Battle of Wits with Facini and Wesley, and it's like a battle to the death or whatever. Like that moment where it's like, that music is really good, and then like Humperdinck chasing after them and being like,
every time he
iodine
speaks,
powder.
but not only that, every time he finishes his sentence, like
Yeah.
Humperdinck,
Yeah.
he'll be like, they're going to the fire swamp.
Yes.
And then he'll be like, da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah. I love when
And
he's
I
like,
wonder if that, because I never watched them, but what is that, is it Monty Python?
I knew you were
think
going
it calls
there.
back to that, right?
Yeah,
that
yeah.
kind of storytelling or that kind of like filmmaking
I
of
think
Monty
so.
Python.
Yeah,
I
that's
think so.
exactly the vibe.
Yeah. But then he's like, iodine powder. I bet my life on it. I like actively laughed out loud the other night watching this. I was like, why is this so, when they throw themselves down the hill, like,
I wrote down these poor stunt doubles
I know it's
that just keep
so-
rolling and rolling.
It's fucking genius. I haven't seen a movie like this since this movie. And I'm like, when are we going to get something like this again? Never?
No.
That's sad.
Yeah.
I think, and again, it's not related in the slightest, but the only film I can think of that has me in a chokehold.
Mean Girls?
No, Step Brothers with Will Ferrell.
Oh, wow.
When I tell you, me and Sophia are constantly quoting that movie.
yeah, that movie.
See, I
is-
feel the same about Mean Girls.
It's about to get taken off of Max, so get on it if you want to watch it again.
Also, Quicksand. This is like where I think a lot of people.
Yes,
like,
quicksand.
a lot of people's irrational fear of quicksand
This
all
started
had a rational
with this
fear of
movie.
You're so
quicksand.
fucking right. I didn't think of that.
Yeah.
Because I was also afraid of quicksand. And when you find out what quicksand actually is
And
and,
how slow it
long
is.
takes. But in this movie, she just fucking
Drops through.
That's how I imagine quicksand would be.
Yeah, it's just but I think quicksand had all of us in a chokehold. Like we all
Yeah.
thought that we were gonna somehow come upon quicksand and get stuck in it and die.
Yeah. The fire swamp stuff was really cool with the ROUSs, which are actual people.
Yeah, they're a little more.
The noises that they make is Rob Reiner himself.
Who's Rob Reiner?
He's the director of the film.
Oh,
He filmed him, or they like recorded him making all of these noises, and
that's
then
so funny.
But at first, when they did it, the guy forgot to hit record, which I think is so classic that he lost his voice too. And in the end, they were like, "We didn't get any of that." I'm like,
No.
"Wow, classic fucking mistake." But also, Rob Reiner couldn't be on set for that whole sequence because every time her dress would catch on fire, he would yell "fire," or like he would try to like, and they were like, "You need to leave." Or maybe it was William Goldberg. It was one of the people that could not be on set because they
Because of
kept
the fire.
shouting out "fire."
Oh my
I
god.
was like, that's so funny and ridiculous.
I love this whole movie. It's
just
so
so
good.
Look up
Also,
facts.
another fun fact: Wesley,
I
the
think she's got all
actor.
the facts.
Yeah, they're in my brain. The actor, he broke his ankle. Or
Playing this?
or almost broke his ankle. No, they had these carts that they drove around. So
Like
Andre the
go-karts?
Giant loved. They were quads, and they were messing around on this quad or something, and he broke his ankle, and he had to suffer through during the sword fighting thing. So like he's doing all that on like a bum ankle or something, and he fucking
His fight with Inigo.
yeah, like almost stopped the film.
I love that whole like.
Yeah.
I know something you don't know. I'm not left-handed.
Yeah.
Rob Reiner auditioned over 500 women for Buttercup, including Courtney Cox, Meg Ryan, Uma Thurman, and Whoopi Goldberg.
Robin Wright was
Meg
the
Ryan.
perfect.
I think Courtney
Person.
Cox could have done
No.
it.
Meg Ryan could have been a good choice,
I think
but Meg Ryan's also her.
I think
she's
the
good for romantic
cast-
comedies things.
I think the cast was perfect.
Yeah,
I do too.
Fezzik, not Fezzik, Vicini was like the absolute best.
I love him.
And so is
he's so fucking funny.
Inigo Montoya, Mandy Patinkin. I tell you,
He just got an open whatever role he wanted.
yeah. And if you are on TikTok, you have to go find Mandy Patinkin
He's
talk.
so funny.
But Mandy Patinkin talk. Him and his wife have a TikTok, and it's the cutest thing. A lot of marriage
He
advice.
aged really well.
Yeah, he's
he
perfect.
looks great.
Homeland is one of my favorite shows.
He
and
kind of looks like the lead singer of System of a Down in a way,
interesting.
slightly.
I don't even know what that guy looks like. I have to look it up. I have not read the book, the Princess Bride book.
I think you should never.
That's where I'm at. I'm like, I don't want it to ruin. Not that it would ruin it for me, but I don't want to ruin the magic. You know what I mean?
no, don't. I wouldn't read it.
I'm in too deep at this point. So I don't know. We'll see. Anything else you want to add? I mean, we've pretty much said it all. It's a fucking amazing movie. If you haven't seen it yet, what are you doing?
Obviously, the Inigo Montoya part is my favorite.
Wait,
And
which
the sword
part?
fighting. The hello, my name is Inigo Montoya.
I love when he's mostly dead. Oh, Miracle Max is
He's fun.
Billy Crystal is one of my favorite actors of all
He's
time.
great.
I'm Not a Witch, I'm Your Wife is probably, I say that all the time. Anytime Mike gets mad at me, I go, I'm not a witch, I'm your wife. And he's like, okay, Kristin. Those Miracle Max is one of my favorites. It would take a miracle. There's just so many fucking quotes storming the castle when she's like, have fun storming the castle. And then when he's mostly dead, he's been mostly dead all day.
I just love how Andre kept like moving his head.
Yeah, that was great.
He just kept like flopping over. It was great.
Marriage part is great.
Marriage, I think of you every time.
Every time, like, you know. And then when he's like to the death, and he's like, no, to the what was the
to the pain.
To the pain. And he's like, last that would be left is your ear. So
I
you
love
can always
also
hear.
the insults he kept telling him after each one. You pathetic swine.
Yeah, yeah.
Jesus.
And then this like everything about just the way that ended is so good. It was
Okay,
such a good
so
story.
if you loved Princess Bride and you haven't seen Robin Hood Men in Tights, I think you should watch that.
Fine. But then, let's talk about the end because I think this is the most controversial topic. When the grandfather turns and leaves the grandson when we're back in the real world, he says, "As you wish."
Yeah.
This has gone back and forth so many times where they're like, is he Wesley? Is this story real in its own way? Like, is there some more to the "as you wish" at the end?
No, I just thought he was saying because he loves his grandson. And
I
that's what
agree.
he said as you wish to Buttercup because he loved her.
No, I totally agree. But there's been,
Fan theories.
yeah.
Is that just because they wanted to be a fan
Yeah.
theory? Like, because the grandfather doesn't have a name. None
But
of
like-
the grandson.
Personally, I don't think movies of that time were doing that.
But also, like,
I think our movies
yeah.
Like a Marvel
now
universe now.
would do that and it would be that way. But I think at that time, they weren't doing that.
But does it also indicate like he has Wesley feature like type? I don't know how to explain it, but just like the way Wesley was, is he also that charming?
Because it doesn't make sense then because he said his father read that book to him when he was sick.
Yeah,
So is he
Yeah.
like a Dread Pirate Roberts? Are they all Wesley?
that was another one that came up where it was like the Dread Pirate Rob, which is another fucking amazing story in the story. It's like a 10-second thing in the fire swamp, and you're like, that sounds awesome. I want a whole movie on that.
Yeah.
Like, that's so cool. But no, I think it was also interesting how you don't know anything about the kid's dad. Like,
Yeah.
that's a whole nother story in itself.
Yeah.
Where it's
See, like movies back then were just so much more simpler.
yeah, but like in a way that still made you think.
Mm.
So I don't know. I am here today in my career because of this movie, and I love when movies and things have that effect on people. So
She gods.
here's my question of the day: what's your favorite movie of all time?
Shit.
Gotta pick one.
I got asked this in an interview.
Really?
Yeah.
What'd you say?
I was so scared.
Like recently? A recent interview?
Yeah,
Actually,
well,
the job
recently.
that I just got.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
They asked you?
I need to know what
a
you said.
big part of it was, and I totally agree with their sentiment, is that they really wanted people that got along with their team.
Yeah,
So,
that's
like,
just such a personality-driven question.
Yep.
so they were really just trying to see like what types of movies I like to
I
see
love
if like
that.
I was like
You can vibe.
I could vibe
I
with
love
them.
that.
What'd
That's
you
fun.
say?
So this is my answer, but this was the conversation. They were like, "What's your favorite movie?" And this is my real answer: Inglourious Bastards.
Oh God, I've never seen it.
That is my favorite movie of all time. I think it's just
I haven't
perfect.
seen it in so
Me neither.
long.
I think it is a perfect movie.
Okay.
Like I think it's perfectly hilarious. I think it's perfectly made. I think Quentin Tarantino's a genius. It's like we go around and round and round, right?
Yeah.
And then they were like, "Oh, like that's a great movie, blah blah blah. Like what's number 2?"
Mm.
Pride and Prejudice, 2005.
Oh,
Yeah.
And
Jesus.
they laughed, and I was like, "I'm still a fucking girl." Cool, but I'm still a girl.
That's awesome.
What is my favorite?
Maria.
If I have to say at the top of my head, something I've watched so many times now that it's a joke at this point is 50 First Dates.
Okay.
Adam Sandler, Drew
I can see
Barrymore.
that.
It's one of my top 5 at least.
I love that.
If we're going by out of just sheer since I've been born, probably Toy Story because my parents are still traumatized
Yeah.
from how often I made them watch
I
it.
fucking love Toy Story.
It's perfection.
That's probably up there in my top.
So
Toy
I would
Story's
say
good.
those 2, I guess.
I love when you ask people in our industry this question because
Yeah.
they're always like
There's
Saving
always a
Private Ryan or like
or
things that like
pretentious.
they're always thinking about the film.
yeah.
Whereas you ask me, I'm saying Princess Bride.
Enjoyment.
Bruce Almighty is amazing.
Bruce Almighty is such a good
One
movie.
of my favorite movies of all time.
Almighty.
And
Max.
Funny.
How to Train Your Dragon is up there for me.
Mhm.
Into the Spider-Verse and
Shrek.
Yeah,
Fucking love Shrek.
I missed the Shrek train.
You
so,
did.
Yeah.
You did.
I'm too far gone.
Shrek is good. Shrek 2, phenomenal.
Oh, Puss in Boots is now
You do
my
love
top
Puss in
5.
Boots, yeah.
I've watched that 3 times already.
The Last Wish,
Okay.
though.
The new
Make
one,
sure
the
you
new
get the
Puss
Last
in
Wish.
Boots.
Okay.
It's
You
unbelievable.
don't like Shrek?
I
don't like Green
did.
Eyes.
Erica, you
I
don't
did.
you don't need to watch Shrek or know anything about Puss in Boots. The newest Puss in Boots is one of the best movies of all time.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
Swear to God.
That's hard.
Swear to God.
I'll watch it.
She'll
Please, I'm
I'll
telling
watch
you,
it.
it's funny, it's charming, it's The Princess Bride, but to me,
But
like,
cats.
I'll watch it.
but cat,
I'll watch
but a
it.
cat. It's so fucking good. It has the
It's
best.
an aggressive stance, but I'll watch
It
it.
has
the villain is
best
so
villain
cool.
in DreamWorks history, and everybody agrees.
I love the villain.
You have to watch it. I
You had a great
guarantee you watch it, you're gonna come to me and be like, "Yeah, dude, you were
And
right."
it's in Antonio Banderas. I mean, come on.
Oh,
Yeah, watch it and let me know what
love
you think.
Antonio. I loved The Mask of Zorro too.
Yes.
I don't
That's a
think
very
I've watched
Princess
it.
Bride.
Mm-hmm.
Esque.
Same vein.
Mm.
Same
Mhm.
vein.
See, I
Mhm.
think of
Trying to think of like other ones.
I
We
think
all
of the
said I got
Hilary
top
Duff
5.
movie when you said that.
Mask of Zorro,
The Hilary Duff movie with Princess Story or whatever.
Cinderella story.
Cinderella Story.
Oh, because the kid dresses as Zorro.
Yep, that's the only thing
Did
I know
you
about
recently
Zorro.
watch that? Because you
I
mentioned
did.
it a couple times. Okay.
I think a couple months ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Did you like The Mask of Zorro?
Yeah.
Mask
I
of
gotta watch
Zorro's
it.
bang.
Anthony Hopkins is in it.
So
know.
how about this?
So
I have a
sexy.
deal.
Everyone's sexy in them.
What?
A deal to make with you.
Oh, a deal.
This week, I'll watch what was the movie
Inglourious
that you
Bastards?
said? No, the one that you said that reminded you of Princess Bride too much.
Robin Hood.
Oh, Robin Hood.
I will watch Robin Hood
If I
this
watch
week
Puss
if
in
you
Boots?
watch Puss in Boots.
Okay.
Last Wish. Make sure
Yeah,
it's
it's called
the
The
new
Last
one.
Wish.
Okay.
Not the first Puss in Boots
I
movie.
bought it on Amazon. You can
Alright,
find
Am
it.
I not part of this deal?
The problem with that is like I haven't watched Robin Hood in years, so if it sucks, it's not my fault.
I don't care.
Okay.
Watch Robin Hood.
Okay.
Yeah, you weren't claiming it's the best movie. I'm claiming that.
Princess
yeah.
Bride.
yeah.
Or
Yeah.
she's claiming Puss in
Puss
Boots.
in
One of
Boots.
the
I
best
need
ones.
to be. I need to have liked it,
Okay.
or else I'm gonna murder you on camera.
Oh, I think that you'll like it.
That's a big thing to say on camera.
Do it, bitch. We'll put it on Live Leak or whatever those things
Like,
are.
what?
I don't know. One of those weird words.
No, absolutely not.
I'm trying to think what other movies like. It's really hard when you think about like your favorite movies of
I
all
just
time.
need-
Because I
five.
think it depends on genre.
yeah,
I
like
disagree.
No, I don't disagree with myself.
I just actually realized
no,
all
I-
of mine
no,
are like
I
comedy
think
based.
I like shrivel up and I like forget all the movies. I've
Yeah,
ever
it's like when
seen.
someone asks what your
Yeah,
favorite book
yeah.
is.
I feel that.
She's like, I don't know.
What was that movie? There was a movie that I loved that like not a lot of people talk about either. It's like that Numbers movie. Violet.
You're gonna
Violet?
break your phone with that
I know.
harmonica.
So this might I'm gonna say it. So in that interview, they also asked me what my favorite book was.
Good
Obviously, I
question.
can't tell them my favorite
you
book.
can't tell someone's Lothair?
No,
What's your favorite book?
You can't tell
no,
it's Lothair?
no. I can't say any of the book. They're all fucking like dirty smut books.
What's your favorite book of all time?
Lothair, definitely. By
What's
Immortal-
Luther?
It's
Crystal
it's
Gold, Immortals After
well,
Dark.
Immortals After
series.
Dark. The book I got her from the thrift store.
But like the other ones up there are just like shitty romance books. You know what I
So
mean?
what
like,
did you say your
so-
favorite book of all
okay,
time was?
what do you think I said?
Is this something I know?
Yes,
Game of Thrones.
You've read it.
Oh, I've read it?
Yeah.
So not Game of Thrones.
No.
Is it a book from like school?
No.
Is it something we read for the podcast?
We will never read it for the podcast.
Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Which book?
7.
Damn. Did they agree?
Probably the reason I got the job.
You're joking.
No, because they were like, they asked me what house I would be in.
What'd you say?
What house are you in?
I thought I told you
Gryffindor.
this. No,
You're
I
not
told
Gryffindor.
I told them
Ravenclaw?
I told them Ravenclaw
She's
because
Ravenclaw, I think.
because if you say you're Gryffindor, you sound like you like are cool and you're
I mean,
like
I am.
I do think I'm
Shut
I
up.
do think I'm in
kidding.
Gryffindor.
Shut
I'm
up.
so kidding. I'm kidding.
I do think if you had to put me in a house, it would be Gryffindor.
I don't.
But Ravenclaw, at least you're smart.
I could see you in
Slytherin,
Ravenclaw.
She's
people have
Ravenclaw.
feelings about Slytherin, and Hufflepuff, people have feelings about
I am
Hufflepuff.
Slytherin and proud of it.
So
You're
it's
Slytherin,
Ravenclaw
you're
by
Ravenclaw,
default.
I'm Gryffindor, 1000%. And if we have to relate it back to Princess Bride, you are Andre the Giant, so you're Fezzik, you're Vicinity, and I'm Inigo Montoya for sure.
You're not Inigo Montoya.
Absolutely, I am.
I'm the Latina.
Yeah, but you
Although
are
he's a Spaniard,
you
it's
are
different.
Andre the fucking Giant. Come on. I own the doggy paddle.
I can't swim. Honestly, no, it is.
I could
But,
see
like,
us
it
being
is-
interchanged
It is me.
because I would be the one to say anybody
Is-
want a peanut.
Is Iron Prince your favorite book?
Of all time, yeah, for sure.
What's yours? What would you say in an interview? You could say that in an interview.
Favorite book of all time? It'd be a toss-up between Phantom by Susan Kay or Jane Eyre.
I feel like Phantom for
Okay.
you,
Phantom, probably.
Okay.
just because you talk about that the most.
See, like
And you love
mine,
the
all
play,
my
you
favorite
love-
ones are just like weird ones that like nobody would know the title
Okay, but
of.
I don't.
I mean,
I
same
don't
with
think
Iron
that's
Prince.
fair to say that for that. I think you can be proud in what you like. If you like romance books,
Not in a
shitty-
job interview.
You can if you want to.
No.
Yes, you can.
Mm-mm. I played my
Live
cards
your
right because I
life.
got the job.
I've thought of that question a lot because ESPN also asks. I was going to apply to ESPN back in the day, and I looked up like some of their like popular questions that they asked in interviews, and one of them was, "What's your favorite book?" And I sat there for like 20 minutes, being like, "Do I
don't
say
read.
the Cubs book that I just read, or is that too obvious that I'm talking about sports?"
Sports.
Because
yeah.
at the time I really loved that book, but I was like, I really don't read them.
I was
much.
interviewing them too.
Thank you so much,
Yep.
everybody. This is my favorite movie of all time. Thanks for joining us on the adventure of a lifetime. If you haven't watched it, please.
If there's any book to movie adaptations that you want us to cover that we have not talked about, send us a message either on Instagram, that's books_n_Betches, BETCHES, or hook up with us on the Discord.
You can find that in the link tree.
In the link tree in our Instagram or in the
Do we have a
description
list?
of our YouTube.
Do you have a list of movies that we're interested in?
I have
Yeah.
a bunch, but like there's some of them. I mean,
do.
the thing about it is like, what?
She keeps moving the
This
table.
fucking table.
Tell me funny ones. Give me funny ones because
Yeah, I
I
want
think
more
a
funny
lot
ones.
of movies that we can watch are kind of sad.
I don't want sad movies.
And I don't want
And
sad.
I'm not watching the next. Stop fucking bringing up the second Grey's Anatomy.
Grey's Anatomy. 50 Shades, guys. 50 Shades.
Do not bring up the second 50 Shades of Grey. I'm not fucking watching. I'm not doing it. I will leave this podcast before I watch that second movie. Sorry. So,
All right. I guess that's how I know we could get her to quit.
you guys can do an episode by yourselves. That would be fun.
no, we
50
can't
Shades
have
of
ever.
Grey.
We can never do just two of us. It has to be all three.
Yeah, I'm not watching it. Sorry. Thank you, everybody, for being here. We love you, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Good night.